For those of you that probably wonder, man, that guy sure gets dirty when he's working on stuff. Well, you know, look what I get to work on. I mean, these guys, just unbelievable. They don't ever clean anything up. I don't know where the battery box cover is, but no, this is a tub grinder feeder for feeding cattle. And golly, they got something back here leaking like a sieve, a hose or something, going up here to the gate or something leaking. Anyway, they called me on this thing here, and I went out and looked at it at the feed lot, and they said, oh, the truck won't move. And long story short, the drive line's moving, but it ain't moving. It's because the rear end, this back rear end's messed up. If you put the interlock in, then it takes off moving. So I'm sure all the teeth are gone off the ring and pinion. So we're gonna get our pressure washer out and clean this up before we start working on it, and knock a bunch of the mud and all the crap off the wheels here and the frame, and wash a bunch of this oil off, and try to get her cleaned up a little bit so we don't get quite as filthy, and then we'll knock our axles out of it and drop our rear end out of it. And it's a nice sunny day. I think we'll just leave this one outside, and we'll just do her right out here on the pad outside the shop. It's a nice sunny day out, so but we'll have to probably pressure wash her off real good there and get it cleaned up so I don't get quite as filthy. I'm sure that I'm not going to get it all, but just there's a good explanation as why I get so filthy. Look at the crap I get to work on. So we'll show you what it takes to get one of these. We'll show you this nice rear end when we get it out. And there's a bearing, a roller out of a bearing, and a bunch of metal on the plug. So if you're going to do one of these, just, you know, you might have 5/8 studs on your hubs there, so 15/16 socket, or if you got 3/4 inch studs like this one, 1/8 socket, and zip those off with an impact wrench, and then take a hammer and hit that flange of that axle right there real nice and hard, and then they should slide out. This is a newer style. The old style that had those cones in there that locked on the studs, they were kind of a bastard to get out of there if they'd been on there a long time, and then those little cones would rust on there, and man, sometimes you'd have a hell of a time getting them out of there. Same thing on this side, so just knock all the axles out, and then drop your drive line between your two rear ends, yeah, and then I get a piece of plywood, and then I'll shove it up underneath my rear end there. So what I'll do is that way I don't want to, and I just drop them on the plywood, and I take a come along or a chain or something, just drag them out from underneath it. So I'm going to get that front drive or middle drive line out, and then zip all the bolts out and drop it out there, and we'll see how they're knocked out of there now. Alright, silicone in there pretty good. Okay, it's moving. Alright. Here it comes. Alright, so yeah. Oh, just come out of there, dirty bastard. fight me. So, gotta pretty much come straight out with it to get it to come out. And I don't really want to get underneath it. Let's get on this side. This is a log truck. I just crane it right off the top. Anything with a bed on it, it's just a pain in the ass. Anything with walking beam suspension is a pain in the ass. You know, they come all, or they keep the plywood, which is fine. We'll get it up underneath there. Put the new one in, I'm going to jack it up to the fire. Put the plywood under them so when the thing falls out it doesn't knock a big hole in the asphalt or concrete. Alright. Now, I can't use my crane right now because my winch motor broke, and I just got a notification on my phone that it showed up, but it's at my house in Klamath, 30 miles away, so I might have to run and grab it. Okay, so let's see if we can roll this thing. All the ring gear bolts are all the ring gear bolts fell out. That would probably be why it's not moving. So it looks like lost a bearing somewhere. There is not one bolt in that ring gear anymore. It's got some rough edges on these teeth right here where it was bouncing around. It must have just been spinning on the carrier when he put it in gear. Beat the carrier up a little bit. I saw one tooth on there I thought that was knocked off. Yeah, we got a drop in coming for it. It ain't worth messing with. The bolts are all beat to hell anyway. Let's get under here and look at all the debris laying in the paint or the housing. Ugh. Oh yeah. Yeah, she's nice, huh? There's all the bolts. Bearing. Race out of something. I don't know. It must be a side bearing. It's got an Anderson Brothers sticker on that rear end, on that third member, which I don't advise anybody buying anything from them. They don't stand behind anything. They say they check stuff out, and they don't check nothing out. I've had nothing but bad luck with them. Buying used motors. People buy used motors, and like that 444, that's where that came from. If you guys watched the 444 video. And everybody knows it didn't run right from the get-go. Oh yeah, look at that. Isn't that nice? Look at that nut. Look what it did to the housing back here. It didn't go clear through, so we're probably alright, but we gotta clean all this crap out. This rear end stuff, man, this is a good way to get a lot of metal slivers in your hands. Actually, this one's not as bad as like a one that, you know, this truck just feeds, so it don't go very fast. Trucks that go down the highway when the rear ends go out, they're just a nasty, godforsaken mess. Getting them cleaned out. This one ain't gonna be too bad. Oh, a little metal in your hand don't hurt. Make you feel alive. Broke a housing here somewhere. Where'd that come from? That's part of the housing or something. No, that must be part of that third member of the carrier or something. Yeah, that's something. Look at that thing a little closer, see what happened there. It's a mess, isn't it? All the bearing material and broken bolts, and golly, what a mess. 20 pounds of bolts and bearings and shit laying down in here. I'll get the solvent blower and blow through it and put a drain catch underneath it and try to get it cleaned out. I had to almost beg them because I had the rear end, you know, it was sitting up there in the parts house for 2 or 3 days, and I leave before they open and I'm home before they close, and I just haven't had a chance to pick it up. Well, I mean, this guy that runs this feedlot, he just was looking for any excuse not to fix it. I mean, finally the owner says, "You're driving that thing around on the front differential and the back one's not even working. You're just making it worse. You're just chewing it up even more. Take it in and get it fixed." Oh, it's just, I don't know, some people just amaze me. Well, we got a lot of cleanup to do. I think I better change that wheel seal too. I can tell you right now that wheel seal's leaking. So, now I think both of them might be leaking actually. Huh. Alright guys, I'll be back in a minute when we're putting that other one in. After a really good wrestling match, jacking this thing way up off the ground, I couldn't get it high enough because I was scared to death if I got it both drive axles off the ground. I had blocks under the front tires. It just was scared to death. I got a little down angle here on this driveway that, you know, something would rock off a jack or something while I was underneath it, you know, because back here's where the brakes are set on this truck. So I thought, nah, I don't want to do that. So I just could not get it on the jack to go underneath it. And then I tried to get it on the jack while I was underneath it and rock the rear end up on the jack, and I just ain't man enough to do her. So I got her standing up on the yoke. That was a hell of a wrestling match getting it to that point. We're gonna silicone this all up, and then we're gonna try to get her wrestled up in there with some bars and see if we can pop it in there. I think I can get the, if I can get the ring gear setting it down up inside the pumpkin, and then I can get a bar for leverage under it maybe. I think maybe I can pop it on up in there hopefully. So these things, there's just, with this walking beam suspension and this tub grinder bed on top, oh man, what a bear, man. They're paying dearly for this one. So, especially as filthy as this piece of shit is. So, oh, here we go. About 7:30, and man, that was quite a little wrestling match getting that rear end up in this thing. Golly, just no room to work, and it's just a pain in the ass. I got her in there though. Well, there she is. So, had a hell of a time once we got it up in there, getting it to seat upright, you know, and I was just scared to death my silicone was going to set up on me before I did it. But what I ended up doing, I mean, I was by myself, and And I really got lucky there. One of my customers showed up because I had it kind of in a position there where I thought, well, what the hell am I going to do now? Let go of it, or, you know, or try to just fight it in there. But he showed up and he grabbed my come along, and we wrapped a chain around that cross member way back there and tied onto that cross member with the come along, and then I just took the hook and just went right here on this bolt right here. And I mean, I tried doing that by myself, but the bottom kept kicking out on me. I couldn't hold it in the bottom. So luckily he showed up, and when he pulled on it, I held it in the bottom with the, you know, the lineup bar. I got a bolt or a lineup bar shoved in the hole, and it just plopped right in there. So, oh yeah, so I'm a filthy, nasty mess, and I'm glad to be done with this one. Look at this thing up here. I don't know if you can tell how much dirt and mud and shit, and yeah. Look at the cab on this thing. Look at the mirror. Isn't that nice? Yeah. I mean, don't fix it till it absolutely falls off. I guess they don't like looking behind them when they back up. Well, I just thought I'd show you guys a video of why I decided when I started this channel why I called myself Grease Monkey, because I always get to work on this nasty, filthy shit. So, alright guys, take care.